As much as I like data science, there's quite a few reasons why you should not become a data scientist. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Leon and I'm a data scientist based in the UK, and there's a lot of good things about being a data scientist. Data science in general over the last few years has grown tremendously in popularity, and I think it'll continue to do so in the next few years at least. It offers good salary and benefits compared to a lot of other jobs on the market, and because you're often focused on making impact as a data scientist, it feels more of a meaningful role in general. And it also offers good job security as well, because more and more companies are realizing the importance of data and being able to extract value out of it. However, although that sounds great, there are quite a few bad points to working as a data scientist. The harsh truth is the majority of people shouldn't do data science, and that's okay. I think it's important to be efficient with your time, and the only way you can do that is by knowing the good things and also the bad things about working in a particular career. So I'm going to put the timestamps up here in case you want to skip ahead, and in this video I'm going to go over the key reasons that I think why you shouldn't become a data scientist. Let's get right into it. Data science is a multidisciplinary field. It's a combination of maths, computer science, and also business domain knowledge. And as a result, it can have a very high educational barrier to entry. Even if you're super talented and maths and computer science comes easy to you, it can take years to develop the business domain knowledge required for your particular role. Personally, I like the fact that there's so many disciplines because it's harder to get bored. There's always something to learn. However, that means that there's oftentimes no clear path to progression, and it makes it harder for newer people to get into data science. You'll also find quite often that a lot of companies don't even know what they're looking for in a data scientist, and they'll just list every single skill that they know of in data science. This means that a lot of people find data science overwhelming because they feel like they have to learn all these things, and although learning is important, it's unrealistic to learn absolutely everything in data science, but that's the kind of pressure that you feel because of these companies not knowing what they're looking for. If you're not the kind of person to enjoy learning new things, especially in multiple disciplines, then quite simply, I think you're just not going to enjoy data science. Because of the rising demand in data scientists and the increase in popularity of data science, there's been a huge increase in applicants for entry-level data science positions. There's now plenty of universities offering data science degrees, and so you'll be competing with fresh data science graduates, but also a little bit more experienced analysts that are transitioning over to entry-level data scientist positions. And as I mentioned earlier, the high educational barrier to entry doesn't help as well. And with companies not knowing what they're looking for, especially smaller companies, a lot of people are struggling to get past their first hurdle of getting their first few years of experience. My experience was I worked as an analyst, and then I got my data science masters, and then I started applying for entry-level data science positions, and I failed so many applications. I reckon it would have been much harder for me if I didn't already have my analyst experience. But in general, I think once you get past that first hurdle and you land your first data science job, then it becomes much easier to convince other employers to give you a chance. Like I said earlier, some employers don't really know what they're looking for in a data scientist, and so they might hire you and then expect you to be a data unicorn and be able to answer all of their data related questions. I think this is especially true for companies that have just started a data science team and everybody's super excited about data science, but they don't actually have the infrastructure to do data science things. If it's not deep learning, I'm not having it. This can be extremely frustrating, and if you find yourself in one of these companies, it can be very tempting to do absolutely everything and try and help everyone, but that can get out of control very quickly. This kind of situation can be difficult to avoid, especially if you're entry level and you're desperate for experience. And the lack of data science infrastructure could actually hinder your career progression, especially when you're trying to move on to more senior data science roles that require on-the-job experience with more specific tool sets. If we're being totally honest, data is not sexy. Most of your time as a data scientist is going to be spent on the boring stuff like gathering the data, cleaning the data, automating data pipelines, etc., etc. And sometimes you might find that even after you do all of that, the data isn't even suitable for the project that you're doing. From my experience, there's usually a lot of tedious things that I have to do before I get to the cool part of a project. And so, in my opinion, I think if you can't spend hours grinding at the boring stuff in a project, then you're not going to enjoy data science, because I'd say that probably takes up about 80% of my time. Just to give you an idea of how I usually do my projects, the first thing that I'll do is I'll try and come to an agreement on the objectives and metrics of the project. And then I'll have to try and find out where I can get the data. So is the data even available to do the project? And then once I know where to find the data, does that data make sense for the objectives and metrics that we discussed earlier? And then I can start gathering, manipulating, and cleaning the data, and then verifying if the data still makes sense for the project. Once I'm confident it makes sense, then I can start exploring it and then use it to solve the problems that we're trying to solve. As you can see, the usual process is quite long, and for most of my projects, I'd say it's quite similar to this kind of workflow. Like in any other profession, you should always try and keep up with learning, but I think in data science it's especially important to do so. Data science being a combination of disciplines means that if you don't keep up with learning, it's very easy to fall behind in any particular area. This of course doesn't mean you have to learn absolutely everything, because frankly that's just not possible, but with the speed at which data science is growing, if you're not learning the latest tools or methods that you're expected to know, then it could very well hinder your career progression. Actually, one of the main reasons why I started this YouTube channel was so that I would have motivation to keep learning new things. I think this problem is made even worse if your role is poorly defined in the company, because then it can feel like you have to learn everything and it can feel quite overwhelming. Ultimately, data science is a very complex field and it's constantly growing and constantly developing. The point of this video wasn't to put you off, but just to help you make an informed decision by knowing the downsides to working as a data scientist. After all, the main thing is I don't want you to waste your time. There are other more established roles like software development that offer a clearer career path, and I think they pay pretty much just as good. If you're still unsure about data science as a career, I have more data science videos up here somewhere. You can also follow me on Instagram, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.